Good evening, family. Good evening, my YouTube family. It is Thursday, February the 4th. This month is going by, y'all. It's going by. It's going by. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. And of course, we are keeping up with Congress, everybody. Lots to share tonight. Lots and lots and lots to share tonight. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the notifications button, and make sure you share, everybody. You know, this YouTube space is new to me, but make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and let's get this party started. We are holding them accountable. We're looking for opportunities. Where's the money? Who is it going to? And how do we get some of it, right, everybody? All right, let's get this party started. Let me share my screen, and there it is. We are holding our elected officials and our candidates accountable. We're harnessing our political power. This is again brought to you by Withhold the Vote. This is our power. This is how we use this and weaponize this vote. Now, no longer do we go to the polls and just give it away for free. No. You got to make sure that we're holding them accountable, everybody. So let's get started. I always like to bring you what's in the news. There was a bill. Let me make sure I make this a little larger for all of us to see it. All right, Amherst reparations group seeks, this is Massachusetts, y'all, seeks $5,000 to assess disparities. I thought this was a very interesting article. Money that will help an organization complete racial disparity research in advance of establishing a reparations fund for Black residents is being sought from the town, y'all. Michelle Miller and Matthew Andrews, who lead the reparations for Amherst group, recently sent a letter to town manager Paul Brockelman asking for $5,000. That's a very small ask that will compensate those African descents who participate in the study. They just want people to help. I think it's a very small ask. Good evening, family from New Jersey. Good evening. We maintain that the data we collect will serve the public for our community and will be made available for the use of the public. Y'all, let me make this bigger. These glasses sometimes don't work well. Let me see if we can. Yeah, woo-wee. Now I can scroll and see it. Whether it is possible to use cannabis tax revenue from the town's marijuana dispensaries to establish a community development corp that would support the Black community and Black-owned businesses, and whether a town-sponsored ad hoc committee is needed to study what other municipalities are doing for reparations. So they're very serious about reparations in Amherst, Massachusetts. It says monies raised will be used to uplift current and past Black residents in Amherst who have been harmed by structural racism by offsetting economic disparities in areas not limited to housing, income, education, health, enterprise, transportation, and personal development. They are serious in Amherst. I thought this was a very interesting article. Amherst, Massachusetts, y'all. See if we could go to the next one that I found today. Ooh, I thought this one was really, really interesting. I want to play this video, so I hope that it will allow me to. It's like 40 seconds, not a long video at all, but I just think this was really good. The Episcopal Church, established by Baltimore slave owners, create a $500,000 reparations fund, y'all. They know this is time. They know they got to do right by those of us who are descendants of slaves in this country, y'all. When I find these articles, I just get excited because I realize we are in this season and in this moment in history where this is coming to fruition. You know, we've been fighting for reparations. They've been fighting for it for a long time before those of you that are in the movement, before, you know, we started doing it. So to see it now come to fruition where there's monies being allocated, oh, I thought this was amazing. So hopefully I can share this screen. Will it allow me to share the audio, y'all? Let me see. Let me make sure I get this right. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second here. Share again, share the screen. And I just want to make sure that I'm able to share the audio. There it is. So let's come back because I want y'all to see this video. All right, and I'm gonna mute myself when I start to play it, but I'm gonna read a part of the article. It says a Baltimore Episcopal Church founded by slaveholders in the 1860s says it will spend $500,000 over the next 5 years to establish a fund intended as reparations for slavery. It says doing justice-centered work. The fund aims to address race-based inequalities that took root during slavery and proliferated for generations in the church and in the community at large. This is so good, y'all. So good. The parish has been focusing on uncovering truth of our past. We've been studying the true impact that memorial inflicted on our neighbors through housing segregation and redlining, through disenfranchisement of Black voters, and through inequity in school and youth programs here in Baltimore. The panel is considering organizations that work within the church's zip code, which is 21217, an area of about 40,000 people in West Central Baltimore, more than 86% of them African American. Y'all, this is some good stuff, y'all. I wanted you to watch this video. Let me see if I can make this bigger, because I want y'all to watch this. I'm gonna mute myself. Give me thumbs up in the comment section if you can hear it. It's only about 40 seconds, y'all, but I just thought just to hear them, this was amazing. I'm gonna mute myself.
Stacy. So I'm asking your support to affirm the vestry's decision to withdraw $50,000 from the vestry fund as an act of reparations, and empower the vestry to direct those resources towards Black-led justice-centered work to undo inequality in housing, education, environmental justice, and civic engagement.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes. Aye.
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 I do believe that the ayes have it. Thank you all, and thank you for your support. This is extremely exciting, I think, for us as a community and as a parish.
Y'all, I just wanted you to hear them say I, and all the people that were part of that decision to give that first $50,000, which there's another part of the video where it totals up to like 100,000. But just to hear them, you know, we're moving, y'all. This thing is happening. Reparations is happening. It is happening. We are living to see this thing actually happen. So I just wanted to share that little video with you. It just made my heart smile, and I'm sure our ancestors are just feeling like, okay, something is going to be done. So that was just really exciting. So I wanted to share that with you. Couple more. The state of Black businesses in this pandemic. I thought this was a quite interesting article. Some conditions can be linked specifically to the pandemic, and others point to the wider systemic racism that existed even prior to the coronavirus. Black-owned businesses are twice as likely to be closed during the pandemic, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. A survey from Goldman Sachs found that 31% of Black business owners say less than 25% of their pre-COVID revenues have returned. We're hurting, y'all. At the same time, Black businesses seeking bank funding like a business loan are three times as likely to get rejected than white business owners. Yeah, we know, we know. Black businesses have pre-existing vulnerabilities that can make it more difficult to stay afloat with the added challenges brought on by the pandemic. Black businesses don't have the relationships, the networks of support. They only have liquidity for about 2 weeks worth of bills at the onset of the pandemic. We also know that the ongoing impacts of systemic racism in the financial sector, in the business sector, and in the racial wealth gap that we're dealing with. Yeah, we're hurting, and we've been hurting. And I'm glad this is now, they're starting to recognize that we are hurting. But there's also data to suggest that there's real strength and potential out there for Black businesses. Some light, y'all, at the end of this dark tunnel that we've been living in. It says in New York, the number of Black-owned businesses was increasing at a rate 4 times higher than white-owned in pre-pandemic years. So something's happening, y'all. We're starting to come out of this slowly. The fastest growing demographic for entrepreneurs in America is Black women. So we just keep pushing. That's all we know to do as a people, keep pushing and keep trying. So I'm just glad that they're recognizing where our vulnerabilities are, where our weaknesses are as a people and as a community. Like I said, this reparations thing is happening and we're watching it happen. All right, what else we got here? So this was an interesting one. I just wanted to let you know that there's some bigger help. This says AT&T exceeds its $3 billion spend with Black suppliers, helping those firms flourish. So I thought that was interesting that AT&T is putting their money where their mouth is, and they're spending money with Black suppliers. It says the Dallas-based company topped a commitment to pay out $3 billion for such procurement by year-end 2020. AT&T noted the action is part of efforts to drive diversity and inclusion across its businesses. The fresh commitment was the largest made with Black-owned suppliers since AT&T launched its supplier efforts in 1966. The company says the move was a response to the civil unrest and economic disparities many diverse businesses were encountering. So AT&T recognizes that we need help and we need support. Looks like my screen is buffering. I hope y'all can see me. My internet is acting up, y'all. Bear with me. All right, this is one more article, and then we're going to dive into these bills, y'all. The Seabird Foundation supports next generation of Black leaders. So this is an article I thought was interesting as well. The foundation is giving a total of $200,000 to Howard University in Washington, D.C. and Spelman College in Atlanta. I thought this was good, and we appreciate all the support to our HBCUs, but we tend to always see the bigger ones getting the bigger piece of the pie. So I like to see some of these smaller HBCUs, these other universities besides Howard and Hampton and Spelman and Clark, the bigger entities. I like to see some of these smaller HBCUs get some support too. So, but we're not turning nothing down, but I just thought that was an interesting article as well. All right, let's dive into what is going on in Congress. Keeping our eye, y'all, on Congress. HR 519 is to provide that an order or other action by the President, Secretary of the Interior, or Department of the Interior official imposing a moratorium on federal oil and gas leasing or permitting shall not take effect until a joint resolution of approval is enacted. So this is a bill that we've seen already with this oil and this gas, these leasing and this permitting. We've been seeing this, we saw this actually over in the Senate. So let's keep an eye on this. This is Representative Cheney, Wyoming, Republican. Let's keep an eye on all of this legislation, y'all. HR 520 is to provide that an order or action by the President, Secretary of Interior, or Department of Interior officially opposing a moratorium on coal leasing, y'all, we still talking about coal, shall not take effect unless a joint resolution of approval is enacted. We're still talking about coal, y'all. HR 520, Cheney as well. HR 521, to permit disabled law enforcement officers, customs and border protection officers, firefighters, air traffic controllers, nuclear material couriers, members of the Capitol Police, members of the Supreme Court Police, employees of the Central Intelligence Agency performing intelligence activities aboard or having specialized security requirements, a lot of people, y'all, as diplomatic security special agents of the Department of State, to receive, here's where we need to pay attention, to receive retirement benefits in the same manner as if they had not been disabled. So I guess there's something, if they become disabled, it affects their retirement. Whatever that means, y'all, we're keeping up with Congress. That's HR 521. Representative Conley out of Virginia. HR 522, to amend the Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act to require annual lease sales in the Gulf of Mexico region of the Outer Continental Shelf. And y'all, I've seen this over and over, this outer continental shelf lands. You know, I told you I take special interest in food, air, water, and land, because everything else we can work it out. But food, air, water, and land, I really pay attention to it. So I wanted to look it up, like, what is this? Because we keep seeing this outer continental shelf lands. So I found a map. So here it is. So it's all this area along the coast here. And did a little more research. I'm like, okay, what is it? The Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act, created on August 7, 1953, defines the OCS as all submerged lands lying seaward of state coastal waters 3 miles offshore, which are under U.S. jurisdiction. Didn't know, once they get so beyond 3 miles offshore, it's international, not United States. Under the OCSLA, the Secretary of the Interior is responsible for the administration of mineral exploration and development of the OCS. The Act empowers the Secretary to grant leases to the highest qualified responsible bidder on the basis of sealed competitive bids and to formulate regulations as necessary to carry out the provisions of the Act. The Act, as amended, provides guidelines for implementing an OCS oil and gas exploration and development program. Follow the money. Some of these people go to Congress because certain people send them there. Follow the money, y'all. This is, you know, so who is this? Who is this? This is how we're going to know who these legislators are. This is Representative Dan Crenshaw out of Texas. Okay, was Texas on this? Okay, so Texas, there's that border. I'm sure he's concerned about what's going on around that border. Yeah, like I said, a lot of these people are in Congress because somebody's paying for them to be there. So this is about the annual sales leases over in the outer continental shelf. So we're going to know who these people are. So that's why I bring you bills that may not seem, you know, interesting. And why are we talking about it? It's not, you know, not black or not white, but it's green. It's green, y'all. We following the money. HR 522. Interesting. HR 523 to amend Title III of the Public Health Service Act to authorize the Secretary of Health and Human Services to award grants to federally qualified health centers for purposes of conducting mental and behavioral health screenings. And I felt like there was more to this sentence, like mental and behavioral health screenings for who though? You're going to amend the Health Service Act to authorize the Secretary of Health and Human Services to award grants to federally qualified health centers for purposes of conducting mental and behavioral health screenings. Representative Dean out of Pennsylvania. I have questions. And this is where, like I said, what we do with withhold the vote is we're getting behind the scenes asking the questions. And that was HR 523. 524, HR 524 is to amend the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 to provide advanced tax refunds to small businesses. I tell you, when I see, for some reason, when I see Democrats and tax bills, I just kind of, it makes me wonder. I have lots of questions. Representative Dean out of Pennsylvania, HR 524. HR 525 to provide for an emergency increase in federal funding to state Medicaid programs. Yeah, it just reminds me of how Georgia didn't expand Medicaid and a lot of states won't accept Medicaid. But here it is, HR 525 to provide for an emergency increase in federal funding to state Medicaid programs for expenditures on home and community-based services. Yeah, Georgia don't want the money, y'all. And other states don't either. HR 525. HR 526 is to provide for special enrollment periods during the public health emergencies. You know, when you go to apply for health coverage, it's only certain times of the year. So maybe this is to open that window to provide for special enrollment periods during public health emergencies. Representative Dodgett out of Texas. Again, we are withhold the vote. This is where we're holding our elected officials accountable. And this is where we're harnessing our political power. If you have not joined us, y'all, get to the website. Go to the website. Join, support. I have been consistent. If nothing else, y'all, I have been consistent. I need you to help me be consistent too. Do not send another candidate to run a race and we don't have receipts in these political streets. Don't send us out here. We got to have receipts. We got to know what these people are doing, what they're not doing. Do not send us out here without receipts in these political streets, okay? Go to the website, join, support, be a part of what we're doing. It takes all of us, y'all. All right, y'all got a few more to go. HR 527 to amend the Consumer Financial Protection Act of 2010 to update the purpose of the Bureau of Consumer Financial Protection. Now, I thought this was interesting because you always hear Elizabeth Warren talking about the Consumer Protection Act. I hear her talking about it more than anybody. But this is a Republican that wants to update the purpose. And I just had to look that one up too. So the purpose, it ensures that the federal consumer financial laws are enforced consistently so that consumers may access markets for financial products and so that these markets are fair, transparent, and competitive. But this is a Republican talking about that. So when I hear Elizabeth Warren talking about it, what does this mean, update the purpose? What other purpose would he like to give it? Republican, Elmer from Minnesota. Follow and keep up with these folks in Congress, y'all. Something with that didn't sit too well with me. HR 528 to place the Financial Stability Oversight Council and the Office of Financial Research under the regular appropriation process. So it's not under the regular appropriation process, to provide for certain quarterly reporting and public notice and comment requirement for the Office of Financial Research. So under the regular appropriation process, so it's not under the regular appropriation process. Why not? What is that? The regular appropriations process. Representative Elmer, again, Republican out of Minnesota. Yeah, I did look up this too. Financial Stability Oversight Council. This council is charged with identifying risks of the financial stability of the United States, promoting market discipline, and responding to emerging risks to the stability of the United States financial system. So that oversight, again, going back to that oversight, the appropriation process, under the regular appropriations process, it is some sort of oversight. Questions, y'all. We have to ask questions. HR 529 to amend Section 287 of the Immigration and Nationality Act to limit immigration enforcement actions at sensitive locations, to clarify the powers of immigration officers at sensitive locations. I just kept wanting to know what a sensitive location was. HR 529. HR 530 is to reunite families separated at or near ports of entry and other purposes. It just makes me sad because I think some of these families, these families are, have been ripped apart, and I don't know if they'll ever find their families, yeah, the people that at the borders, yeah. HR 530, y'all, this it breaks my heart with this. Like, these are children, these are babies separated from their families, and now y'all trying to figure out how to reunite them. HR 530. HR 531 to require agents and officers of U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement and U.S. Customs and Border Protection to wear body cameras. Yeah, they all need body cameras. I want to know what they're doing. 531, y'all. HR 531. HR 532 to amend Title 18 United States Code to prohibit discrimination by abortion against an unborn child on the basis of Down syndrome. Y'all, we keep seeing a lot of these abortion bills. We talked about that last night. A lot of them. HR 533 to prevent surprise medical bills with respect to COVID-19 testing. Surprise medical bills? Y'all, if we don't get Medicare for all in this country and some sort of comprehensive coverage for all of us equally, HR 533. HR 534 to restrict the availability of federal funds to organizations associated with the abortion industry. There they go again, I'm telling you. A lot of abortion bills. HR 534. HR 535 to amend the Social Security Act. We talked about the Social Security Act. We know who this is for. To include special districts in the Coronavirus Relief Fund, to direct the Secretary to include special districts as an eligible issuer under the Municipal Liquidity Facility. Social Security, special districts, Municipal Liquidity Facility. Y'all, I just have bunches of questions. So this one I did look up. Like I said, we're real clear about the Social Security Act to provide for the general welfare by establishing a system of federal old age benefits and by enabling the several states to make more adequate provisions for aged persons, blind persons, dependent and crippled children, maternal and child welfare, public health, and the administration of their employment. We understand what the Social Security Act is. I'll keep reading these things to you guys so that we can all be real clear. I just don't know these special districts. Like, okay, what does this all tie in? I wanted to look this up too. The Municipal Liquidity Facility. Didn't know what it was. So I looked it up too. The Federal Reserve established the Municipal Liquidity Facility to help state and local governments better manage cash flow pressures in order to continue to serve households and businesses in their communities. Now that sounds like a middleman. Let's try this again. The Federal Reserve established the Municipal Liquidity Facility to help state and local governments better manage cash flow pressures in order to continue to serve households and businesses in their communities. It is a middleman. I don't know how this works, but it's a middleman. Like who is this that we have in the middle here? So Social Security, special districts, and then it's some middleman. Are we funneling money? Like my brain just starts to go all over the place. I just have questions. HR 535. HR 536, to reform the process for enforcing the immigration laws of the United States. Reform the process of enforcing immigration. Lots of immigration bills, y'all. HR 536. Ooh, getting to that half hour mark. Almost there, everybody. HR 537 to extend the Supplemental Security Income Program to Puerto Rico, the United States Virgin Islands, Guam, and American Samoa. I don't know how they are treated in Congress. Puerto Rico, United States Virgin Islands, Guam, American Samoa. So I am going to do my own research there, y'all, to figure out like the relationship we have with these territories, because these aren't US, these aren't states, these are our territories. Like how do we, how does this work with them? Because I'm sure they're not being represented, obviously, like the states. HR 537. HR 538 to amend the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act to include certain communities and to extend the fund. Y'all, I had to look this one up too. This will be our last one for the evening, y'all. The Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. Y'all, I looked this up. Here's this area. This yellow area is where they were exposed to uranium. This blue area right here is downwind counties that were exposed, but the green is overlapping uranium worker states and downwind counties. So these people were exposed. So let's just read it real quick. The Radiation Exposure Compensation Act established an administration program for claims relating to atmospheric nuclear testing and uranium industry employment. The act delegated authority to the Attorney General to establish procedures and make determinations regarding whether claims satisfy statutory eligibility criteria. Just a quick summary, y'all. The United States conducted nearly 200 atmospheric nuclear weapons development tests from 1945 to 1962. Essentially, to the nation's nuclear weapons development was uranium mining and processing, which was carried out by tens of thousands of workers. This is all new information to me, y'all. Following the conclusion of these activities, Lawsuits against the United States allege failure to warn of exposure to known radiation hazards. These suits were dismissed by the appellate courts. Congress responded by devising a program allowing partial restitution to individuals who develop serious illnesses after presumed exposure to radiation released during the atmospheric nuclear test or after employment in the uranium industry. The Radiation Exposure Compensation Act was passed on October 5th, 1990. The Act's scope of coverage was broadened on June 10th, 2000. The unique statute was designed to serve as an expeditious, low-cost alternative to litigation. They didn't want to be sued. Significantly, the RECA does not require claimants to establish a causation. Rather, claimants qualify for compensation by establishing the diagnosis of a listed compensable disease after working or residing in a designated location for a specific period of time. Y'all, when I tell you, I don't know if this is interesting to y'all as it is to me, but this stuff is so, keeping up with these bills is in my blood, y'all. I don't even know where it came from. Don't know where it came from, but it is truly in me. This is information that we need. This is stuff that we don't know, because I know I don't know. And I'm still learning, and I'm enjoying this, keeping up with Congress. So again, we are at the half hour. I see we had a lot of comments in the chat. Hey, Donovan, thank you for putting that information out. Yes, sir. He says, great questions. We'll need to hold them accountable for DOAS and ADOS interests. Absolutely. Absolutely. He's talking about the surprise medical bills. Sounds like language to prevent COVID lawsuits. There, see, we asking the right questions, y'all. We are asking the right questions. My ADOS family, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? Hey, Don. Hey, Don. Hopefully we will have money to build with instead of just money to spend. That's right. We need land, y'all. He says, yes, the reckoning is overdue. So yeah, we just have work to do, everybody. I am Tamara Johnson-Shealy. We are keeping up with Congress. We're not too far off. I think we probably got about maybe 50 or so bills left in the Senate that I haven't brought to you. And we probably have maybe 30, 40 more on the House side. So we're actually right there as these bills are being introduced. We are right there with them. So you will find me right back here, y'all, on when? Monday, I'll be right back here, 7 o'clock p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, bringing you more bills. Thank you for joining me tonight. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Y'all make sure you tune in on Saturday at 11 a.m. for Tamara for Georgia, because we are going to be focusing on Black History Month, and all month long, y'all, we are going to bring y'all some very serious reparations information. I got some good stuff lined up. Be on the lookout for a flyer. Great stuff coming for Saturday's broadcast. But we're going to continue to keep up with Congress right here on YouTube, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern to 7:30 p.m. right here on YouTube. Please spread the word. Please share. Please make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit that notification button. I will see you on Monday at 7 p.m. right here, but see you on Saturday at 11. Have a good weekend, everybody.